In a remote village tucked between green fields and dusty roads lived a boy named Samir. He wasn't someone people noticed. He didn't talk much, didn't argue, didn't fight for attention. While other boys ran through the fields shouting and laughing, Samir quietly walked home from school, carrying not just his bag, but the weight of his father's struggles. His father, a simple farmer, woke up every morning before sunrise, wearing the same worn-out shirt and heading to the fields with tired eyes and a hopeful heart. Samir followed him silently, learning not just how to sow seeds, but how to stay strong without saying a word. In a village where success was rare and dreams were often laughed at, silence was his only friend. When people mocked him for being too quiet, he didn't reply. When relatives told him, he just smiled. He wasn't silent because he was weak. He was silent because he had faith, not in luck, but in effort. Every evening, while others played or gossiped at the tea stall, Samir sat near the lantern with an old torn book. He didn't have internet, didn't have coaching, didn't even have proper shoes, but he had a fire inside him that no one could see. Because it didn't make noise, it burned quietly. His silence confused people. They laughed. But Samir kept studying, kept helping his father, kept sacrificing things others took for granted. When his cousin bought a new phone, he didn't even ask to touch it. He was building something no one understood, a future. Then one day a notice came from the school, a national scholarship exam. Only one boy from the village would be selected to sit for it. The entire school knew the topper would be chosen, and Samir wasn't the topper. In fact, no one had even seen him raise his hand in class. So when the teacher announced his name, there was silence, followed by laughter. But Samir didn't respond. He quietly took the exam form, came home, and sat down to study harder than ever. He studied during the night, with bugs flying around the lantern. He studied during the day, with one eye on the cows in the field. He studied with hunger in his stomach and hope in his eyes. No one saw it, no one cared, but he kept going. On the day of the exam, he wore his father's old shirt and borrowed slippers from a friend. At the exam center, boys from cities came wearing smart watches and expensive perfumes. Samir stood alone, quiet, almost invisible, but inside him was a storm. He gave the exam, came back, and waited. Weeks passed. No one asked him how it went. No one expected anything. And then one day the postman came with a letter. His name, bold, selected, full scholarship, a seat in one of the best colleges in the city. That night his father cried for the first time in years, not out of pain, but out of pride. The village was shocked. The same boy they ignored, the same boy they mocked, the boy who never raised his voice, had done something no one else ever did. But Samir still said nothing. He didn't post it on Facebook, didn't tell the world. He just packed his bag and touched his mother's feet. Life in the city was a new battlefield. English, expensive food, rich classmates, fast life. He didn't fit in, but that was okay. Because Samir wasn't trying to fit in, he was trying to rise. He stayed silent even there. But this time, his silence was sharper. He observed, he learned, he grew. Slowly, his results spoke for him. His projects got noticed. His professors praised him. He got internships. And after 4 years of silence, he graduated with honors, holding a job letter in his hand that could change his family's life forever. Samir came back to the village once, years later. But now he wasn't the boy they ignored. He was the man they respected. Not because he screamed for it, but because he earned it silently. He built a new school in the village with his first salary. He bought his father a new pair of shoes, not because he needed them, but because Samir remembered the slippers he had once borrowed. He didn't give big speeches. He just stood quietly and smiled. His story teaches us something we often forget. In a world full of noise, the quiet ones are building empires in silence. When people doubt you, don't argue. When they mock you, don't explain. Let your work speak. Let your patience shine, and let your silence be the loudest thing they hear. Because Samir proved what many still don't understand: be silent and get everything.